up, Martin? Appreciate you being here, brother. Well, Martin, this ought to be fun. Looks like it's just you, me, and the dog. Oh, there we go. B.Al's in there. Raider Paul. Appreciate you, Paul. Yes, flying solo tonight. Jeff and Michelle are wisely spending time with family and not talking about this stupid football team. What's up, Atticus be rocking? What's up, Paul Edgerton is in there. Ron. What's up, Yoshi? What's up, Desert Raider? Salute back at you, brother. Amen. Alan in there says, you're not alone. You got us. And that's all we need. Amen. Like, I love that saying. We're all we got and we're all we need. But anyways, we're in this thing together tonight as we talk about this stupid football team of ours. So let's go ahead and kick out. Thank you, John Rodriguez, right out of the gate with a $2 donation to the One Nation Foundation. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that very, very much. All right, let's get into it. It is it's time for episode 394 of Raiders Fan Radio.
What's up, guys? It's Richie Incognito, Las Vegas Raiders. I'm here at Raiders Fan Radio. Let's go, Raiders.
Woo! Hey, it's Mike Garafolo, NFL Network here in the home office, and you are listening to the Raiders Fan Radio podcast, taking that lighter journey into the dark side with Murf, Swag Jeff, and Michelle. She's got great hair. It's a little pink, it's a little purple, whatever it is. I'll tell you what, if I could grow it, I would sign up for that color today. So listen to her and the entire crew as they give you all the information on the Raiders on the podcast that benefits the One Nation Foundation. It's a great cause. It's a great pod. Tune in, turn it up. Here it comes. All that Raiders info and takes coming at you right now.
Jackpot, baby. Raiders Fan Radio.
Oakland, L.A., Oakland, Vegas, Raider Nation, wherever, forever. You got your old Uncle Mosh and Raiders Fan Radio from Murf's Man Cave, taking a lighter journey into the dark side. Sit back, put your feet up, pop a top, and enjoy the ride. Here we go!
Look left, look right, Bolitnikov, a leaping pass, touchdown!
We miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Way up the middle, intercepted Filipiano at the 50, high running down, Oakland football, and I think Oakland victory.
The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play.
Well, I love this team. I think this team can win. I think this team can win.
You are listening live to Raiders Fan Radio. Take it away, guys.
Why, thank you, Brett Musburger. What is up, Raider Nation? Your buddy Murf back once again for what I trust will be a fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio. He says, take it away, guys there. How about just take it away, guy? It's just me and Bomber, me and the dog here hanging out for this episode of Raiders Fan Radio. But that's okay because it ain't about us. This is all about you guys. We're doing a See a Fan show tonight, and I just wanted to thank everybody right here at the very, very top of the show for all the amazing support that you give Raiders Fan Radio and the One Nation Foundation. This is the time of year to be thankful for. Well, we should always be thankful for everything, but it really resonates this time of year as we celebrate it nationally as the United States, and even our brothers there over in the UK. I know Paul and Martin, and I know they've mentioned Happy Thanksgiving to us in there, and it is, man. I'm thankful for everybody and every interaction. This show is conversational when it's at its best. Thank goodness we have the chat room tonight, because it is just me in here, but it's just you guys, man, and I cannot thank you enough for the support that you give this little dopey podcast that we do here in my basement, here in the fan cave. We thank you so very, very much for that. I'm thankful that you're dealing with a popping sound. I don't even know where that's coming from. There's like a popping sound in the microphone. I don't know, but we're going to go with it anyway. We're just going to keep going. We've got a lot of emails to get to tonight. We've got a lot of voicemails to get to tonight. And so we're just going to keep this all about you guys, all about the Sea of Fans. And thank you so much for being here for it. And of course, we've got some other stuff we're going to talk about along the way as well, because there's never a dull moment, right, when it comes to this football team. And so we've certainly got a lot to talk about when it comes to our Raiders. But this is Raiders Fan Radio, episode number 394. And we are brought to you by the good folks at FanDuel. We appreciate them so very, very much and their support of the One Nation Foundation. And we're also brought to you by the good folks at the Believe Network. Very proud to be part of the Believe Network family of podcasts. And, they've got a lot of shows going on over there at the Believe Network. And so we're happy to represent the Raiders on behalf of that network. And we thank them very much for their support of the audio version of this podcast. And speaking of the audio version, if you're on the audio podcast, thank you very much. Appreciate you listening to the show. Appreciate you checking us out on your way into work or you're not mowing your grass this time of year, but whatever you're doing, we appreciate you very, very much for what you're doing out there, listening to the show. And if you want to check out the show audibly, you can check us out on any podcast service just by searching for Raiders Fan Radio. And of course, last but not least, thank you to all the amazing folks in the chat room, like Mark Barris is in there. Thank you, Mark. Mark in there with a $2 donation says, thankful for you, Murf. Well, thank you, man. Brother, see, this is what it's all about, man. It's all about being grateful in this season. And I'm grateful for the chat room. Thank you for Paul being in there. Paul Edgerton is in there. Mark, as I mentioned, Wyo is in there. Wyo, I've got your jerseys going out. Jeff Murphy signed yours the other day, so I finally got them going out to you. Martin is in there. Let's see. Shiesty is in there. Appreciate you so very, very much. Backwoods Raider is in there. Gianluca Morelli is in there. Let's see. Darian Morris is in there. Appreciate you very much. Raider Paul. Jay Jackson. What's up? Navajo on the go is in there. John Rodriguez, as I mentioned earlier. Atticus B. Rockin. So many of our good friends are in there, and we appreciate you joining us for this episode. So I mentioned we're brought to you by the good folks at FanDuel. And, man, I've been having a blast on the FanDuel app. I don't know if you guys are using it or not. I hope you are. It's absolutely the best way to bet online if you're going to participate in that. And so definitely check out that FanDuel app. When it comes to like even games that are like not that interesting to me, because I mean, it's hard right now being a Raider fan, right? Like it's hard getting excited about our own team. So I watch a lot of other games, college and whatnot, and it's really fun to use the FanDuel app and to bet on some of that stuff, bet the prop bets and all that kind of stuff. And man, I've been killing it lately. This past like 2 weeks, I've been crushing it on FanDuel. And one of the big reasons I've been crushing it on FanDuel is because I've been betting the under on the Raiders. Like, the Raiders can't score. I've been betting a lot unders on the Titans, too. I got burnt this last week because I remember who they were playing, Texans or something, whatever it was, rang up 30 points on them, and so it blew out that under. But the Raiders, man, are consistently turning in the under. So this week, it's under 41.5 total combined score against the Chargers at SoFi Stadium. Okay, deal. I'm taking it. Like, it at least gives me something to root for while I'm watching this freaking football team because they're such a disaster. Of course, we'll see what happens now with Chip Kelly being gone, what the offense looks like, if there's a different level of output with Greg Olsen back there calling the plays. But no, I'll believe that when I see it. So anyway, I bet heavy again. It's like free money every week. Just bet on the Raiders to hit on the under. Chargers are also a 9.5 point favorite. That's more when you started getting to 10-point double-digit favorites in the NFL. That's a rarity. You got to be a really bad football team. And the Chargers, they're struggling as well with their offensive line and whatnot, with all the injuries and everything that they've had. So to be a freaking 10-point dog, and I would say that the Raiders are a 10-point dog on the road, but really SoFi is a home game for us. I mean, even more than Vegas is a lot of times. Raider Nation in Southern California freaking shows up, man. I got so much respect for everybody that's going to go out and support the Raiders, considering the shit show that they are. But there's so many of you that are thousands and thousands of you that are going to do that and displace all 6 Charger fans that exist and take over SoFi. And so I'm hoping you get a good product to see on the field. But the way it's looking, that Chargers -9.5 might not be a bad bet to make either. So, but anyways, and oh yeah, by the way, we're 1-5 technically at SoFi Stadium, right? But we are 0-4 with fans because the one that we got was the COVID year, and there was nobody there to watch the game. So since there's been people allowed in SoFi Stadium, we hadn't won yet. So I'm hoping for a win because I'm rooting for all those amazing Raider fans that are going to be in attendance. Outside of that, I'm not expecting much, and I want to get us a damn draft pick. So anyways, all right, let's go ahead and hit. I'm not going to do contact info yet. I'm going to get into our episode number. I've got an episode number for you. So my buddy, my best friend and yours, Swag Jeff, always takes our episode number, which in this case is 394, and ties it back to something significant within Raider Nation. I've got 2 for you tonight, and I got these on my own, all by myself. I got these for you. So here we go, 394. Through the 2024 season, the Las Vegas Raiders have played 394 regular season games on the road or away at a neutral site, or on the road or at a neutral site. In its history, gosh dang it, I butchered that. The Raiders have played 394 games on the road or on a neutral site in its history, posting a record of 394 and 394 and 9 in those contests. So we are just about dead even 500 football playing on the road. But here's a fun one. On October 22nd, 1978, the Raiders crushed the Seattle Seahawks 27-7 in a game where my favorite player and yours, Kenny, well, he doesn't have to be your favorite player, but he is mine. In a game where Kenny Stabler completed 394 passing yards. He went 22 of 32 that day for 3 touchdowns, no picks, and still one of only 390-plus yard games in franchise history. And that exact yardage gave the Raiders its first 6-2 start since the Super Bowl years. What's up, Kenny? All right, now we're going to do contact info. Contact info. There it is.
Woo! Hey, Raider Nation! You got your old Uncle Mosh here with an updated contact info. So sit up, zip up, shut up, and pay attention. You can call us at 909-345-3346, or as Murf would say it, 909-345-3346. How about emailing me? You want to email me? Email me at show@RaidersFanRadio.com. Or what about reaching out to us on some of that social media stuff Swaggy likes? Try Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. The Twit at Twitter at Raiders Fan Radio. Insta something. Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio. The tiki-tiki-taki-talk. TikTok at Raiders Fan Radio. Or what about the Twitch? Some of you out there twitching. Anyway, Twitch at Raiders Fan Radio. Or if you don't like that, go to the YouTube. America, go to the YouTube. YouTube.com/Raiders Fan Radio. Oh my God, if that wasn't enough, go to your podcast provider and search Raiders Fan Radio. Holy crap, that was a lot.
Good. So appreciate you all being here so very, very much for this episode of Raiders Fan Radio, as I mentioned. And so here at the top of the show, we like to give out some respect. We don't do props. We don't do shout outs. There's nothing wrong with those things. But, we're Italians. We like to give a little bit of respect. And so I want to give respect again. I mentioned it at the top of the show already, but thank you guys so very, very much for your support of this show and the foundation. We've got some really cool opportunities coming up with Raiders Fan Radio where, the show has always made money, and we decided that we wanted to give all that money away. And we've got a really unique opportunity coming up, getting actually backed by a media partner. And there's an endless amount of potential with this, where this, the dream is, I've always wanted to do this for a living. I love my job. I have a great job. I've been with my same company for going on 22 years. I have a wonderful, wonderful job. And so I'm very thankful for it. But the dream has always been able to do this. Like, this is my passion. Like, this is my number one passion outside of my family. And so, and it's all of us, Swag and Michelle are like that. And we would love to do this. And this is the first big step for us towards that. None of that happens without you. None of that happens without, the amazing listening audience of Raiders Fan Radio, and everybody that, hits a retweet, hits a like, hits a subscribe, puts a review on, Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or, hooks us up on our YouTube. I know we're not the biggest YouTube channel in the world. There are other guys out there that absolutely blow us out of the water. You know who they are. There's a couple of them that we don't really care for, but then there's a lot of them that we really like. Guys like Graf and Wasted and Hammer. And, we really like, Mikey going back a ways. Like, there's so many good Raider content creators out there. Or I even hesitate to call them content creators. We're show producers, man. We're like making, a whole show here. And like, those guys blow us out of the water with their performance, but that's okay. Like, I'm not trying to, achieve, a title. What I am trying to do is to be authentic and represent Raiders fans as best that we can and have a fun ass time doing it. And you guys hear the dog whistle, man, and you vibe with us. And we can't thank you enough for that, because all of that has led to all these incredible opportunities that are coming up. And way more important than that is the support of the foundation and what we've been able to do with the charitable work. That the first thing we always tell, whether it's Josh Kamenite at Raider Dad or it's Angela Bolitnikoff, the Bolitnikoff Foundation, anytime we're ever like, quote, interviewed or it's discussed or whatever, the first thing we always say is that it's the listening audience of Raiders Fan Radio. This is not us. All of this stuff comes from you guys, man. We cannot appreciate you enough. So I just wanted to let you know that here at this Thanksgiving season. I hope you all are spending time with family, or being around loved ones, because family's not always loved ones. Ask Uncle Mark, my Uncle Mosh. He'll tell you that he loves most of his family, but then there's a few. But anyways, I hope you spend that great time and having a great week. And for those of you that have to work, like, that sucks. You know what I mean? For those of you that have to work through the holiday, I was in the service business for a long, long time, and I was bartending. I was back there slinging whiskey on Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's Eve and all that. There were many, many years that I didn't get to enjoy the holidays. So I know what that feels like, to be out there and have to go to work. Not to mention those that are first responders and nurses and all this. Like, there's so many folks out there that are putting in their time and in their job, not glorified around this time of year. And so I thank them for their sacrifice to that and the time with family. But if that's not the case with you, then I'm loving it that you're at your home with your family. Last thing I'll say, I had the grace of my son being home from the Navy this week and being able to hang out with him, and everything from just cooking and playing games and laying around and watching movies and all that. And it's those unique family moments that we have that come around this season. So I'm so thankful for that. And again, very, very thankful for you guys and your support of Raiders Fan Radio. Yeah, there's Jay Jackson. They're saying, I'm at work now. There you go. There's a perfect example of that. And thank you, Jay. Real best of you. Martin in there says, Uncle Mosh Santa ready yet? Uncle Mosh has been Santa ready. He was here a couple of days ago for a big family event, and absolutely, he's Santa 24/7. nowadays, man. It's incredible. But so it's pretty funny. But all right, let's get to some Raiders stuff. Let me hit a break, and then let's talk about the Raiders.
Buddy enjoyed a good Donnybrook more than sixth-year linebacker Phil Villapiano.
Linebacker, number 41, Phil Villapiano.
This is Phil Villapiano, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Brockman from The Rich Eisen Show.
And it's Del Tufo from The Rich Eisen Show.
You're listening on Raiders Fan Radio.
Yes!
Need some refreshment? Sip Real. At HTO, you can dive into dozens of flavors of real and real refreshing iced tea. Mix and match your faves or grab a gallon to go. HTO, real tea, real refreshing.
So Ron the Moderator is in the chat there, and I love it. Ron says, I'm clocked into my moderator job. You know what? And you guys have heard me say this before. Thank you, Ron, man. That guy, bailed us out of a tough situation a long, long time ago, and I can count on one hand the amount of times that Ron has missed a show, and he's always there and such a good friend of ours, and we cannot thank him enough. Thank you, Ron. All right, let's talk about some Raider news. Let's get to some of this stuff here, because I just got a quick little list of things that I want to bring up and chat about with you guys real quick, and then we're gonna get to the emails and phone calls. So the first thing is this Gino flip-off thing. So this is funny. So Gino Smith gets booed at Allegiant Stadium, like rightfully so, right? You paid for your ticket, your team sucks, like you want to boo somebody, boom, like do it. Nothing wrong with that. And he had an adverse reaction and gave this, like you can see my camera there, gave a little finger on the way out. My biggest complaint, honestly, with this is don't put it in your chest and be shy about it. If you're going to give someone the finger, give them the goddamn finger. Like, put it out there. Like, just do it. Just commit to it. Don't be a chicken shit. Like, and so it was almost like a little bit of a character reveal for me, because we know I've seen him throw his middle fingers in the face of Seattle fans. I've seen him talk his shit on the sidelines at a youth football game. I know you're fully capable of it, Gino. Don't get shy when it comes to us. And I've heard some people say, like, oh, now how does that feel when it's in your face? Yeah, okay, fine. I can deal with it. Look, he sucks. I'm sorry. I'm not going to change it. It doesn't change anything the way I feel just because our quarterback flipped me off. I don't feel any different about him. I don't even feel worse about him. I don't give a shit. I don't like the guy. I don't want him in silver and black anymore. Day in. There was a reason those people were booing him. Is that because they didn't want him to be our goddamn quarterback to begin with? So if he don't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't like him already. So flipping me off didn't freaking push my freaking level of distaste for Gino Smith any further. Screw that guy. I don't like him. I don't like his chicken shit stuff he does at the podium, his smart assness, his smugness. I don't love the fact that he's got daddy covering up all of his mistakes. I don't like him. I don't like him. So flipping me off, fine. Because people that don't like me and I don't like them, guess what they do? They talk shit to one another. They flip you off. So goodbye, Gino. That's all I got. And the team issuing an apology before he did, again, covering up for your guy. Oh, let's get out in front of this. Bullshit. Raiders PR is so lame. I'm sorry. They follow him on Twitter. They are so tone deaf. They just don't understand the fan experience very well at all. It's everybody's a program puppet, and it's so dumb. And so it's like, no, I want to hear Gino. If you want to genuinely apologize for that, then you get out in front of it. You get on your Instagram or Twitter or whatever and be like, yeah, guys, sorry, I was in my feelings, my bad. And then when next time you're at the podium, you can bring it up again. There are plenty of ways, modern day technology, everybody's got 2 thumbs and an iPhone. You can get a message out to a fan base. And I don't think he's remorseful. I think he's attempted to sound remorseful at the podium because the team told him he needed to, but that's it. It doesn't mean anything. And so again, like, number one, you didn't commit to it on the front end, and you're barely committing to it on the back end. So screw you. I'm so over this whole experience of the Raiders in 2025. And speaking of the apology machine, that is Pete Carroll for Gino Smith. The apologies for the mistakes and the apologies for the misrepresentation of how good this team was going to get or be. Just, gosh, you guys, you think that they all think they're earmuffs, kids. They all think they're so fucking smart. There's so many people in these positions in the NFL because you're glorified by fans, you're glorified by media, you're paid millions of dollars. You all think you're so fucking smart, it can just get over on us. Listen, man, there ain't a fan base harder to get over on than Raiders fans because we don't fucking quit. This is not a part-time thing for us. Yeah, we can check out. And yeah, we can get frustrated. And yeah, we can kind of, back out of the pool a little bit and just keep a foot in or whatever. Sure, that's possible. But I don't think you understand how invested we are in this stuff. Hence the Gino Smith situation with flipping off the fans. Brother, we've been in this shit for fucking sorry, I'm cursing a lot tonight. Can you tell I'm feeling in my feelings? We've been in this shit for 50 some of us years or more. And even the ones that haven't been in it that long, they've been in it a long ass time. You've been in it for what, 11 games? You got something to complain about? Kiss our collective ass. And anybody else that wants to apologize for anybody else, kiss our collective ass. You're not that smart. You're not getting over on us. We've been down this path. We've seen it. We pay attention. We are so invested into everything about this football team that you cannot polish a turd, put lipstick on a pig, or piss on us and tell it it's raining. It doesn't work. So quit doing it. Just stop. Just own what it is. Give us some corporate speak and move the hell on. Like, don't pretend like it's something it's not. Pete Carroll in the press conference said, we're getting ready to do something good. What? Fire Chip Kelly? Okay, that was pretty good. There could be a lot more. You could fire yourself. I mean, it's insane to me, this apology tour. And then on top of that, because we're all just a bunch of dumb Raider fans, now you've got media members that are out there apologizing for some of the guys that aren't being let go, Brennan Carroll. And I'm not going to name any names because you guys know who they are. But you've got some of these beat writers out there talking about how these guys had to report to, these guys have their bosses. So it's an apology for guys like Brennan Carroll that maybe it wasn't their fault. Maybe it was somebody else's fault. That is bullshit. In what world can we not just hold ourselves accountable to the things we are responsible for? Like, when are we going to stop making excuses? When are we going to stop apologizing? When are we going to look at each other in the eye and go, that's that, and it's not good. So what can we do different to make that better? Like, God dang it, man. Just be honest. I swear, they're worse than politicians. And I don't like politicians either. But it's like, because it's all about mismessaging and finger pointing. And it's like, it's so dumb. It's this current regime of the Raiders and everything about this version of the Raiders is thrown me off a ledge, guys. I hear, like, top of the show, being thankful, being positive, and being grateful for everything in life, and especially, around this show. And I'm especially thankful for a lot of things in life, but this is a big one. I mean, I'm not good at being negative, but man, this fucking team, what do we look what we got? It's so not stressful. It's so tough to deal with as a fan. It's just anyways, so the apology thing, the apology machines, that's the last thing. And I'll say this too, when it comes to media, like, I know that a lot of these beat writers, I understand that you are basically employed by the team because you have to have access. You can't piss off the freaking brass at the Raiders because they're not going to give you access to players. They're not going to give you access to the facility or whatever the hell else that you have access to be able to report, in the way. But because they're given this exclusivity to it, they're not asking the toughest questions. I'll give Vinny B a little bit of love here because he's, out of all of them, he's the guy that's willing to at least push it a little bit. But the ones that there's no follow-ups, there's no challenging to the team at all. And I know that you've got some self-preservation and it would be career suicide if you were to haul off and say something that would totally piss off Pete Carroll or anybody else in the organization. I get all that. But at what point do you start losing credibility? Because if you're just an apology machine, right? Like if you're the cable news of the Raiders, you're just apologizing for, and you pick the side. Doesn't matter to me what side politically, but you guys get what I'm saying when it's like, when that's all you do is just promote one thing, again, you lose credibility with us. And back to my other point, we're smart enough to sift through the bullshit. We can see it because we're Raider fans and we know better. So don't do it. And so I'm curious at what point if that they lose that. And the last thing I'll say is this, and I'm going to shut up because I've been rambling and I want to get to you guys because more of you and less of me and us is a good thing. This whole Jim Gray thing is weird. If you guys don't know who Jim Gray is, I'm sure you do. Most of you do. He's an old sports commentator, right? Broadcaster. He would do Tyson fights. He would do he's the whole I want to eat your family and all that stuff that Mike Tyson said. That was courtesy of Jim Gray. He was the guy interviewing him. If you guys remember LeBron's decision when he had that big, show where he was going to announce whether he was going to go back to Cleveland or not, or if he was going to move on or whatever. And he said, I was going to become a member of the Miami Heat. That was Jim Gray interviewing him, right? Jim Gray is connected to Tom Brady. He's connected to Bill Belichick. Jim Gray is a longtime broadcaster connected with a lot of people that are now affiliated with your Las Vegas Raiders, including apparently Mark Davis by accounts from Amy Trask. So there's a lot of speculation in all of this. There's a lot of secondary information in all of this, but to surmise, he's a voice in Mark Davis's ear. Jim Gray has only ever came off to me in my sports viewing lifetime as a complete weasel. That guy looks slimy. He reminds me of Wormtongue in freaking in the Two Towers. If you guys remember, Wormtongue in the King of Rodan's ear. It's that's the Grima Wormtongue, I think was his name. But anyways, it reminds me of that guy. And if that's the voice or one of the voices in Mark Davis's ears, Mark, you got too many cooks in the kitchen, bro. You got too many. You got Tom Brady. You've got your other investors, Wagner. You've got now apparently Jim Gray. You've got Gruden. You've got whatever other confidants you have in life. There's all these people out there that are in Mark Davis's ear because Mark at least self-admits he's not a football guy. So he's willing to hear opinions and voices from other people. Mark, brother, if my voice ever found your ears, just do this. Hire a professional, hire a freaking head of football operations, and tap out. Enjoy your time at the games and the suite and laughing and cutting up and the business side of it and the good fortune you found in Las Vegas and and being part of the communities and going to your Aces games and doing just go do all that stuff. Let somebody else be the focal point for the decision making of the football side of the Raiders. Just do it. That's that to me, because it can't be Tom Brady. Tom Brady's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He's trying to make all that Fox money so he can buy up more of the Raiders. So he's not going to quit that job and do it full time. So they've got to find somebody. And apparently that person can't be Sandra Douglas Morgan, right? So she's got business side of it on lock. Well, then hire somebody like her to handle all the football stuff. That's it's far, and I mentioned this a couple of shows ago. It's far past time for the Raiders to have a proper power structure. I'm no expert, but my degree is in leadership, and I have an infatuation, frankly, with institutional leadership. When it comes to organizations, it could be, in this case, a football team. It could be a church. It could be a hospital. It could be a school. It could be, the military. Many different versions require structured and strong leadership. And all of the most successful ones have specific commonalities. And the Raiders don't resemble any of those successful organizations. So it starts at the top. And I'm not going to be one of those guys who be like, Mark has to sell the team. Listen, Mark ain't selling the goddamn team. Mark Davis is the Raiders. The end. So what can we then do about it? Mark should, I want to say needs to, because he doesn't need to do anything. He's a grown-ass man who's got his own money and his own football team and doesn't need some dopey podcaster telling him what he needs to do with his life. But if I could encourage him to do anything, it would be hire a professional, hire somebody that can run the football side of your organization and enable them to make all of the decisions. Not, well, this guy says this and this guy says that. This guy wants this guy. No, one person, and run it all through them. We've talked about it over the last few weeks, if not all season practically. Nothing this team does makes sense. There are so many decisions that get made that don't jive with others. Just look at the 2025 draft. And so all those things, because none of them line up with each other, that's why. Because you got so many people with input in making these choices and all. So it's 101, man. It's right there. It's the blueprint for dysfunction. So anyways, I'm going to stop talking because I really do want to hear from you guys. But I wanted to ramble at least a little bit on those topics. It was hard for me to keep up with the chat there, but I cannot wait to go back and read back through the chat and hear what your guys' opinions are on these things. And I'm sure we're going to hear them in some of these emails and voicemails as well. So, all right, without further ado, let's go ahead and hit a break and then get to the Sea of Fans mailbag.
This is Kevin, the Raider Nerd, live at the Oakland Raiders tailgate. Raiders! We got Gorilla. Say hi to Uncle Mosh and Murf.
I love you guys. Much love from the black hole, baby. Just win.
What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Will Compton. You're listening to Raiders Fan Radio. Tune in because they fucking put out a banger podcast.
There he is, fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's tied, he throws. It is! He caught it!
All right, appreciate you, Raider Nation. This is the Sea of Fans mailbag. This is where you can email or phone. You can phone call us, you can email us, or you can call us with your phone. And you can leave a message. And if you get your message played on the show more than 3 times, then you can become the next made man or made maiden here at Raiders Fan Radio. And I've got not 1, not 2, but 3 made men to introduce to you tonight. I'm incredibly excited for that on a show tonight where we are being thankful for you guys to have 3 new made men in there. And so we're going to get to those. But before we get to those, we're going to get to your emails. And I've got a lot of emails to get to. So Big Daddy going to be reading over here for a minute. Let's see. First up, I've got, let's see here. This is Matthew Stanley. This actually came in via a text message because you can text the, well, I should tell you how you can get a hold of us. You can call the show, 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. Give us a call 24/7 and keep it under 2 minutes, or Google Voice, or is it 3 minutes? 3 minutes, or Google Voice will get you. Or you can email the show at show, that is SHOW, at RaidersFanRadio.com. And again, you can text the show, which is, I didn't know, but I got this week. you can text 909-345-3346, and it'll come through. So here we go. I got a text from Matthew Stanley. Hope all's well. Earmuffs, kids, this shit is fucked. Chip Kelly is gone. Yay, I guess. They all need to go save for Spytek and Rob Leonard. Pete is out there looking like he got shipped from the rest home onto the field at the podium. I thought the seasons from 06 to 08 were I don't know what that word is, but I believe the fan base might be worse due to the expectations of our poor performance. As a fan, this is the most objective. Gosh dang it, this is going to be a long night. Most dejected I have seen the fan base and the most depressed I have been. Should have just stuck with AP for another year. Pete has lost the plot. He's firing coaches, but nothing changes. It's worse than McDaniels. Yeah, no shit. Fires the special teams coach, and guess what we did on special teams this last week? Look the same. Let's see. We're the laughingstock of the NFL. How do we beat the Pats? And my Lord, how bad are the Titans for us to whip them? I guarantee you nothing changes from Chip's firing. As the comedian aptly put it, it's all one big freaking joke. Anyways, Raider Nation until I die, and I will continue watching every week because I'm a masochist. Take care. Love the show, and I love you, Raider Nation. Matthew Stanley. Appreciate you, Matthew. Yeah, so he says nothing's going to change. Yeah, how about, let's see, maybe we can we'll actually see Jack Besh. That'd be cool. Tyler Lockett played 60 snaps on Sunday. He's played 141 in 4 games with the Raiders. Jack Besh has played 32 snaps. 32 in that same time period. They drafted him in the 2nd round. What was the point of drafting Jack Besh? Bomber, what are you doing? Dog's over there doing something. He's making sure he wasn't chewing on cords or something. Yeah, it's craziness. So, and I'm with you, man. I don't think much is going to change. I like Olsen. Met Greg Olsen a couple of times. Super nice guy. But yeah, I don't think much is going to change because what does he got? He's got the same offense. He has to run the same offense. He's got to call the same plays. He just calls them in different orders and maybe pulls some off the scrap heap, but then he's got the same players executing them. He's got the same offensive line. Like, it's bananas. All right, next up, we're going to get to Martin. What's up, Martin? Hey, friends, as losses keep coming, each one is worse than the last. This time they made Shedeur look like a star instead of the number 3 that he is. What is it going to take for our Raiders to turn their fortunes around? More than firing their special teams coach, more than getting rid of the DC, OC, that Chip has sailed. He's fired. As much as our teams like ours fall on hard times, so also can they turn their fortunes around. Sometimes quickly, as we saw with the 2020 Washington football team, the mid-2010 Seahawks, 2016 Eagles. The common factors in these turnarounds are what you would expect from a strong, winning franchise. New leadership, creative coaching, informed drafting, and a strong culture both on and off the field. Yeah, brother, we've seen it this year. Look at the Bears. Look at the Colts. Like, you can turn stuff around when you're terrible from the year before. The Patriots. You can turn things around. The next successful team for the Raiders will certainly look different from the previous ones by necessity. Stability seems to be the key. An O-line that plays together consistently has the depth for when inevitable injuries occur, and a quarterback coaching staff that sticks around and generates understanding, senior management that understands their roles and where they fit in their organization. There you go. That's exactly what I was talking about. Right on, brother. Remember, Kansas City were 2-12 in 2012, 2-14 in 2012. Hired Andy Reid, got Alex Smith at quarterback, and went to 11-5 in the playoffs the following season, instigating a period of almost unparalleled success in the modern era. It can be done. As it stands, Spytek's still the GM, Pete's still the head coach, Brandon Carroll is also still at his post. Once Pete's tenure ends, whether it's the end of his contract or sooner, Mark and his GM need to make bold future-looking appointments at these key positions. Get a young quarterback with promise for at least 5 years of service to repair the O-line so it can protect the QB. No more journeymen, no more Band-Aids, no more old friends or just plain old players. Then we'll see if we can't build the new Raiders with a fan base that gets rewarded for its loyalty that everyone will want to come and see play. And that's once again considered worthy of a primetime TV slot. And finally, shout out to the chat, to the One Nation Foundation and its partners, to the sponsors of this unique multi-sensory experience, and go Raiders. Signed Martin, made man, 9-time Sizzle recipient, 3-time Fanny Award winner, 2025 Man of the Year, and active campaigner against putting sugary stuff on meat. Your friend from across the pond. You may not like sugary stuff on meat, but I'm telling you, when some of that syrup drips off your pancake or slides off of your pancake into the sausage, that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. He also asked a question. He sent in another follow-up email, and he asked what my thoughts were about coordinators either being on the field or up in the booth. I don't know. Like, I don't have like a definitive response. I think it all comes down to personal preference. I would say this, that one of the things I did like that Pete did was that, you know, McDaniels put Patrick Graham up in the booth, and then Pete pulled him back down because he was like, I'm not worried about his bird's eye view. I want him to be there with his guys. And I thought that was a really cool move for him. I mean, mixed results, obviously, but I love that concept of being like, you know, you can look your guys eye to eye and be able to coach that way. And you got enough offensive assistants and things that you can have people up there in the booth spotting things that can report back down to you. They can stay in constant communication during the game. It's not like going into a quarterback where, you know, communication gets cut off or whatever. They're in constant communication with their staff. And so I kind of like on the field, but I'm also, you know, I'm a guy that coached youth football. I'm a guy that played high school football, you know, played a little bit of college football, not at any sort of level or nothing, but like, you know, like, and so I love that. And those guys were never up. You never had your coaches, you know, in a booth or anything like that. Everything was on the field. And so I liked that. I love that interaction and whatnot. So, if I had to pick, I think my personal preference would be on the field. But when it comes to the pros, man, I don't know, it's different, you know? So anyways, good question there though, Martin, and I'm curious to hear what the chat room has to say. All right, next up, we got Wendy. Hi, RFR, beautiful Raider fans. We all love each other every year, regardless of how we feel about the current roster or coaching staff. Not that anyone is asking what Wendy thinks. Yes, we are. I'm asking right now. What does Wendy think? This is why we're doing this show. Your opinion and your what you've got to say is valid around here, Wendy. So I'm asking. But she says, RFR is all about stating our opinions. There we go. And yes, they are like assholes. Everyone has one. I feel sad and disappointed this week. This week, it's more than I'm pissed at the fans, okay, at the game who were swearing at Gino. I mean, I feel like it's lack of common sense. What does this accomplish? Yes, booing or being angry at the team and the coaching is warranted. They are terrible, including Gino. But the guy just got beaten up by the Browns defense by 10 sacks, and he still stayed in the game and tried to play. And people are telling him to F off as if he's bruised and battered and lost a terrible game. Why tell him to F off? Did you not see that the defense allowed Shedeur to score? Gino doesn't play defense. Did you not see the offensive line looking like toreadors against the Browns defensive line? Gino doesn't play offensive line. Complaining and criticism for individual players belongs on social media and here in our RFR cave, not at a game. Please don't tell me you're shocked that Gino flipped the guys off. They started it, standing there yelling, holding their sixth beer. And if you look at the video, he doesn't throw his hands or his finger high in the air. It was more like an involuntary reaction against his chest that he immediately realized he shouldn't have done. Okay, that's me. I was there. I saw it. It pissed me off that people act like that, and it's okay to abuse individual players. Bullying when you know they can't fight back. So I don't want to go to another game because of the fans, not because we're losing. I've gone to games every season, whether we win or lose, but it upsets me like a punch in the stomach as a mother of two sons who has worked and trained so hard to play football and soccer and other sports in high school and college to see players abused like that after a hard loss. Whoever our quarterback is, not just our quarterback number one, he's not calling the plays. He doesn't play the line. He doesn't coach the tight ends, running backs, or wide receivers. And most of all, he doesn't play defense. Please just remember that and remember that and try to have some common sense. It's not all Gino's fault. They are terrible, and he is only one part of the problem. Okay, off my mom scolding platform. Love to you all. Happy Thanksgiving. Just win, Wendy. Well, Wendy, like I say all the time, man, like we don't ever get on these microphones and espouse our opinions because we expect to be right. And I love hearing, an alternate take on it and everything that you had to say. Absolutely. And I think it's worth considering. I would say, that, people pay for their ticket and they can shout and yell and do whatever they want. But then this is kind of what I was saying to you earlier. But then don't be surprised at what the response is. Like, you're right. Like, and it doesn't accomplish anything. It's just people are mad, and the quarterback is he's the focal point of the offense. He's the focal point, frankly, of the entirety of the organization. And so, when you're going to catch ire from the fans, a lot of times it's the quarterback gets all the blame and he gets all the credit, and same thing you can even say with coaches, like, they get all the blame and they get all the credit. And so, I think overall, I would say this, Wendy, is that it's just an unfortunate situation. And it's just, it all goes to the dysfunction of this freaking football team and everything we've had to deal with this year. But I 100% respect everything that you just had to say around that. Jeez, Bomber, you big slobbery ape. All right. Good evening, RFR family. It's Van City Raider from up north of the border. I hope the three of you are doing well, or at least as well as you can be after that disappointment. The $6.6 billion question is, where do we go from here? It's been a long time since I've connected with the show, but I just wanted to email to express my pure sadness and disappointment of how this season has gone with what I considered our best head coach since early 2000s in Pete Carroll. Is this team cursed? How stubborn has he been? And the pure resistance, refusing to play Spytek's draft class. The nepotism he has shown, the favoritism he has shown, and to his QB, and flipped off Raider Nation, our home stadium, acted like a preteen who told mom no. I would like to see Gino flip off Raider Nation in the Oakland Coliseum, or even try that this Sunday in Allegiant West in Los Angeles, where Raider Nation still runs heavy. If Al were still here, there would be a picture circulating of Al kicking Gino straight square in the ass after treating his fan base like that, because Al loved us. Pete Carroll's my favorite coach of my lifetime, growing up in the Pacific Northwest of Vancouver, right above Seattle, watching Pete make football in these parts relevant. We must give Spytek full control of the roster building in 2026 and moving forward. Those complaining about this past draft class doesn't make sense to me. Papa hasn't played this class. Of the reps we have seen Ashton Genty get, who's still going to get close to 1,000 yards already, and his 8 touchdowns, Besh's separation is averaging 10-plus yards a catch on the balls that have been thrown to him. Darian Porter's looked good in his limited reps, as is Tonka Hemingway. It's not Spy's fault Brennan Carroll's offensive line can't stop a nosebleed. This past couple of years have been the roughest stretch of football I've ever seen the Raiders team play in my lifetime at this point. Somehow, some way, we need to stop the bleeding. I've threatened to watch football as a whole and come back to my diehard Raiders fandom when we are moving in a positive direction. I just don't want to be the laughing stock of the NFL anymore. The wins will come once there is a direction to fix with whatever that is, but I can't shut off my love, my passion, the fire that burns bright for this team. As I'm sure many of you listening can relate to, I hope it gets better. Swaggy J, Murf, and Michelle, but rock bottom is rock bottom. And as the hoodie states, as I'm currently wearing, the nation deserves better. Anyways, RFR family, hang in there. The night is darkest just before the dawn. Always rocking and repping the silver and black, and will always represent this team from north of the border. Win, lose, or tie, Raiders till I die. Cody Gillespie, a.k.a. Van City Raider. Appreciate you, Van City Raider. All right, let's see. We've got two more emails here. Hey, Murf, Michelle, and Jeff. Been listening to your show for many years since I retired years ago. First off, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for this amazing show you put on almost every week. I listen to many Raiders podcasts, but yours is the one that I look forward to the most. I'm quite fortunate. Go on. Come here. Sorry, the dog's getting into some mischief. He's 200 pounds and drooly. Drool is not good for electronics. Okay, where am I at? I'm quite fortunate to be in my early 60s and have all the memories of how great the Raiders were. My first game was in 1969 when my uncle took me to see them beat the, I don't know what that means. He took him to see him beat somebody. To be honest, I can't imagine anyone staying a loyal fan of this team that never experienced what it really was to be a Raider. I also fortunately was able to have season tickets in LA and then Oakland and then paid for the PSL in Vegas before I retired. Thank God I was able to sell the PSL to a good friend who, by the way, makes bank on selling those tickets. When I retired, I lived 14 hours LA time away. I always purchased the NFL Game Pass, would wake up during the devil's hours to watch the games, and seriously, this pathetic team led me to start drinking at 3 a.m., which is not a good thing. Finally, last season after the 2-7 start with AP, I just stopped. I stopped watching, stopped looking at the NFL highlights, stopped drinking at 3 a.m., and started this long, slippery slope from anger to sadness before apathy. At first, my fan heart was quite saddened, but then whoever the powers may be hired Pete Carroll as a coach before hiring a GM, and I became apathetic to this organization's completely asinine, back-ass way of doing things. Let me give you a life moment example. I went through almost a decade of a loveless marriage and finally decided it was enough. When I remarried, it was not to someone a decade older than me. It was to someone who was younger. Can you imagine if Mark Davis started retiring or started dating some retired 70-year-old Mustang Ranch vet? What the heck were they thinking? What future is in there having washed up has-beens being our coach for maybe 2 to 3 years? Does anyone think that Pete Carroll can coach up a first-round quarterback? Heck, that old pretending to be young man only cares about him. Compete translates to I'm stuck in my ways, and either you are a veteran who he loves or you are not my guy. What he and his son have done to JPJ is enough grounds for to fire him just for hypocrisy alone. And I think this vendetta started when JPJ was on video saying to Ashton Genty, I'm your center. They want to teach everybody that only the Godfather has the silver spoon entitled son that really gets to decide who competes. So in conclusion, I'm happy to hear you're moving ahead to try other ventures, because even if they are fired PC and the right, even if they fired PC and the right head coaching staff, this team is 4 years away from relevancy. But at that time, Raider Nation will no longer exist as it did for decades, because those of us that are Raider Nation will have literally or figuratively checked out. I'm out. Signed, Rambo Adventures. Appreciate you, Rambo. All right, here we go. The coup de grace, the last one. There we go. Evening, everybody. I hope you're all well, or as well as can be under expected circumstances. Today's email comes to you Sesame Street style, with the letter G and the number 7. G is for good, genius, gallant, graceful, and greatness, but not in this case. It stands for Gino. Gino is a blundering fool who has little to no awareness. He exudes fake accountability and sincerity and thinks the way to win loyal fans is by flipping them off at halftime. Gino blames everybody else, really, but he has the backing of his surrogate daddy, Pete, so only the people that have to suffer him are the fans that put their faith in him months ago. On a serious note, I don't care who you are, what level of the game you're at, or what your trophy cabinet looks like. You never, ever do that to your own fans. I don't care what the fans were doing or saying. In this case, we know firsthand what happened because it was one of Graf's moderators that it happened to. I have sympathy that he is playing behind such a poor offensive line, but he needs to take that up with his sugar daddy because he's the one employing such a shit offensive line coach. He's looking and sounding more ridiculous by the game. Any small amount of support he had, I would hope, is gone after doing that. I need to see a fine or suspension coming from Spytech. Acting the way he did and then acting like a whiny ass bitch in the tunnel to get a loyal fan a ticket. Well done, fool. You just proven to everybody that you haven't got the mental strength to be in the role. And finally, a few questions for you. Was it this bad in 2006? I've blocked a lot out from my memory of that season, but I don't recall it being as bad as this. Our defense was very good. Our offense wasn't. Or is it because we were promised more this year that it's hurting so much? Is Patrick Graham safe? Has Pete Carroll been interfering too much and not let him do his job? How much tolerance has Vegas got with the continuing decline of the Raiders? A couple more years of this and the voice starting to go. A couple more years of this, and if I were the boss of Vegas, I'd be asking serious questions. I know the money that's being made will have a say in things, but just how long will the powers that be put up with this level of failure? I'm not saying they'll boot the Raiders out of town, but when the money men in suits start to have a say in Mark Davis's but will the men in money suits have a say in Mark Davis's future? Stay safe, Raider Nation. Have a great Thanksgiving. I love you, Raider Nation. His Lordship, the Royal Scribe, Paul Edgerton, Shropshire, Mississippi. Polly Award winner 2019 and 2022. Foggy Glasses Award winner 2020. Made Man of the Year in 2024. Maverick Award winner in 2025. Sizzler scorekeeper, proud made man, five-time, times 5 winner of the Raiders Fan Radio BRT Sizzler Award. All right, so let's get to this question. Is this the worst team since 2006? The answer to that question is yes. How do they stack up against the 2006 team? I would agree with your sentiment out of the gate, Paul, is that the expectation was that this team was going to be significantly improved. And yeah, the three of us in this fan cave got all up in our feelings and predicted them to win more than 10 games. And I own that. I said it. They said it. We said it. I own it. And I don't change from that. But clearly, we misread the room in a big, big way. But we were going on based on what we were told. And we were going on what we saw. And in the offseason, things made sense. And then real quickly, they stopped. So I stand behind that enthusiasm, but I don't stand behind the expectation that I had. And listen, we're not going to win again. Jackson Dart's coming back already for the Giants. And so, with that guy back in the lineup, we're toast. He's going to pick us apart. Our weak-ass secondary. But so, anyway, so all that said, I think that there's definitely context to be allowed for in that, is that the context of this season was pretty high. The context in 2006 was not. The context in 2006 was that we were coming off of Kerry Collins and Randy Moss and that dysfunction that was going on, and 4 games that we won. And now we've got Aaron Brooks and Andrew Walter and Marcus Tuiasosopo are going to be our quarterbacks. And, Moss was still there, but the writing was on the wall already. Just offensively, man, that team was we just kind of knew it wasn't going to be great. And clearly it wasn't. The Art Shell brings in Tom Walsh, picks him up off the scrap heap, literally pulls him out of a bed and breakfast that he's running at the time to come in and call the offense. And it's just a freaking abject disaster. So I wasn't expecting the Raiders to be much in 2006. Well, here's what they were. Offensive rank was dead last in the league. I'm going based on points because yards don't matter to me. Well, I'm thinking they don't matter, but you can run the ball up and down the freaking 20s all you want. Are you putting it in the end zone? Or you're even kicking field goals? That to me is what defines, how good an offense or a defense is. So in terms of points scored per game, the Raiders we were 32nd. We scored, listen to this, guys, we scored an average of 10.5 points a game in that season. In the meantime, we had a 10th ranked defense. So defense points allowed was only 20.6. So this was the worst offense in the history of the game and for the Raiders, and the worst overall since 1962. Next up, you got 2009 Raiders were pretty damn bad. The gap between, we were the 30th ranked offense, the 9th ranked defense with a 5-11 record. Then we got 99. We had a 26th ranked defense, 26th ranked offense, 10th ranked defense. That was Gannon's first year, but you started to see some of the energy come back. I talk about 99 a lot. It was the way we ended that season was oh shit, we're onto something here. And sure enough, they were. But the clear worst to me, though, is the 2026 Raiders. Stands out as the most lopsided and disastrous bottom of the barrel offense compared with a top 10 defense that's only led to 2 wins. And of course, then the number 1 draft pick that we spent on Jamarcus. But this embodies the offense kills a good defense more than the others. So when we talk about versus the 2025 team, they're on pace for less than 15 or 16 points a game, which will land us like 30th or 32nd in the league. But the defensive ranks are not as high. The defensive ranks are going to be like less than the 20th. So it doesn't fit the quite, great defense yet. So, and then the other thing I would say too is that people will like to say that, that 2006 team, the offense or the defense was so good because other teams' offenses didn't have to do much. They didn't have to throw the ball. They didn't have to do a lot. They knew they could just score more than 10.5 points, and then that would lead to a W. So the defense wasn't tested as much. And I would say that the counter to that is that when you play bad offense, it puts your defense in really challenging positions. When you're turning the ball over at a historic rate as the offense, as they did in 26, defense is playing against a short field. They've already given up. Maybe they're defending in the red zone out of the gate. Like, you think about all the things that does to your defense when your offense is struggling that hard. And we've seen that. Like, we see that now. We've seen that with some of the Derek teams. We've seen that with when the offense is struggling and the turnovers are prominent, it puts the defenses in jacked up spots. Well, that defense in 06 still held up. So that speaks volumes, I think, for that level of talent. So to answer the question fairly, on paper, 2006 was worse. But as a fan, in terms of expectation and what this team actually is, this is worse. This feels worse to me than 06. And I'm curious to read what the opinions are of the chat room in there. I want to hear what you guys have to say, because that's just I'm curious. I'm curious because that's, and I think it's all subjective. It's just whatever. That's just one guy's opinion. And I don't want to be a prisoner of recency either. We'll see how I feel about this 10 years from now, looking back on the 2025 season and see if it feels any kind of different than 06. But I would say right now, this is worse. And last thing I'll say is this, and then let's get to your calls. The other thing that's challenging about this one, Paul, is that I don't know what the bright spot is. I don't know at least in 06, I know he lost his fastball and his health and his cognitive skills were declining. We still had Al Davis, and for whatever hope that gave us, we still had, the old man in the building. And now it's what's the direction of this team? I don't know. I don't know what the identity is. I don't know what the Raiders' identity is. At least then we had an identity, right? It wasn't a good one. 2 wins is not good. Art Shell 2.0, Tom Walsh, all that shit that I just mentioned. It wasn't good, but it was still the Raiders. We were still in Oakland, still had Al Davis, still played great defense. Namdi Asamoah, there was still Stuart Schweigert. There was still something there that was Raidery. This is stopping to feel Raidery to me now, man. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I'm could be a curmudgeon and crusty old man with those feelings, but it's just stopping to feel like that. So I would say this is worse. I'll tell you that. Yes, my opinion as a fan, my own perspective, this is the most down I've ever been about the Raiders. That's the end. So, anyways, take that, put that in your pipe and smoke it. I don't know if you smoke a pipe, Paul, but if you do, smoke it away. Okay, next, let's get to these calls here. Enough of me. Let's see. Here we go. We're going to kick it off with our buddy, Central Valley Raider.
Hey, this is Central Valley Raider here, California style. Been a Raider fan since I was 7 years old, and I'm now almost 62. So not only am I an old Raider fan, I've also been suffering a long time. I tell you, man, I don't understand Pete Carroll up at the podium talking about we're going to win, we got to win, we can't play these young guys, we're still trying to win. It ain't happening. I mean, it's just not. I mean, wouldn't you rather, at this point, lose with the rookies and see what they got instead of losing with these losers? I mean, it's enough already, man. I just can't. You know, we got rid of our special teams coach because, I mean, special teams sucked. Can't make a field goal. Can't stop nobody on the kickoff, punt returns, whatever. It was a problem area, and what happened? He's gone. What has been the biggest problem since training camp? The O-line. And that coach still has a job. I don't get it. You tell me why the worst position on our team still has the same coach. With all these, you know, you guys get what I'm saying? I mean, I don't, and then he says that, you know, he wants to win now. I mean, it ain't happening. Excuse me. Anyways, what do you guys think? I mean, I say we play the young guys. Yeah, we can lose with them. Maybe we might even win. I'll tell you that. We don't know. These guys have had extensive, you know, careers in college. They were picked in the third round for a reason. Let's see what they got. I mean, they can't be any worse than what we got right now. Wait till we play the Browns. Man, oh man. It's going to be a slaughterhouse, man. And there probably won't be any Raider fans in the building to watch it, so that's a good thing. It'll be all Cleveland Browns. The dog pound in Las Vegas. Anyway, I'm out, Murf. You guys have a good day. Love what you do. Love the One Nation Foundation. It's awesome. And as soon as I can, I'm gonna get back and donate something to you guys. I appreciate what you do. Later. Bye.
Oh, that is too cool, man. Thank you, Central Valley Raider. Yeah, we appreciate you, brother, and appreciate your support of the One Nation Foundation. Can't thank you enough for that. Man, gosh, so much of what he had to say in there that I agree with wholeheartedly, and can't wait to look and see what the chat room has to say about it. But I'm with you. But he asked, the question about, I mean, it's glaringly obvious what the issue is with the team when it comes to the offensive line. It's number one, it's a deficiency of talent. That's it. But then in terms of like playing the young guys, why would you not? And that's the stuff that gets so confusing, is that why would you not? It's coaching malpractice at this point. It just doesn't make sense. And just like so many things don't make sense. And that's just the dysfunctional organization, once again, that the Raiders have become. So, but anyways, appreciate you calling in, brother, and keep them coming. All right, next up, let's see. We've got Johnny from Sacramento.
Hey, yo, Murf. Johnny from Sacramento.
Hey, Johnny.
Proud member of the Black Hole. I'm calling you live from Vegas with one bloodshot eye open at the partying with Rilla and Violator and everybody else last night. Anyway, listen. I know a lot of people don't care if we win today because they think it's going to fuck off our draft position. But you know what? All that goes out the window. It's fucking game day. Let's do it. It's Max versus Shador. It's the Nation versus the Dog Pound. Fuck the Dog Pound. Fuck the Dog Pound, that's right. Anyway, man, hey, we're going to go out here. We're going to do it. And you know what? God bless you guys. God bless you guys for keeping us going every week. Appreciate it. And you know what? Keep doing what you're doing, Murph. Thank you.
Hey, give it up for Johnny in Sacramento. Thank you, brother. That was incredibly cool. And Johnny is one of 3 guys tonight that is going to get made here and become the next made men here at Raiders Fan Radio. And I appreciate that sentiment. And that's the thing, and I'm with you. Like, when it comes to wins and it comes to game day, it's like, I get it that it's favorable for the Raiders in the draft to not win football games. But exactly what he said, like, it's Raiders Browns. It's Red Right 88. It's the cardiac kids versus the silver and black. Like, it's like, that's where my brain goes. I don't want to see them lose. This whole, like, I mean, and even going into this game, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's going to be tough for us to, garner that top level prospect quarterback if we get a win. But God dang it, I don't want Shedeur to beat us. I don't want to deal with the aftermath of that. And we've already seen it. And we've already seen the gushing over Shedeur Sanders. And, and he's this, and and he's that. And see, this is what he should have been picked higher. And all he needs is, like, whatever. And, and I don't even have, like, a thing against Shedeur. Like, some people just don't like him or whatever. I don't know. He's fine. I think he's 100% a product of his environment. Look who his dad is. Look at what his life was like. This was Deion Sanders told Mark Davis this was the first game he's ever watched his child play that he wasn't his coach. That tells you all you need to know right there. And I don't even begrudge Deion for that. If I was, a Hall of Fame elite athlete with the resources that I had, I can't say that I would parent my child any different. And Shedeur is a product of that. So I don't hold him for that. But all that said, I don't want him to beat the goddamn Raiders because I don't want to hear people go, see, Raiders should have drafted Gino Sanders. See, you guys screwed that up. You went with Gino Smith. That you know what I'm saying? So I'm with you, Johnny. I don't want to hear that shit, man. I want to see the Raiders be the goddamn Raiders. I don't care if it costs us a draft pick. What I do care about is that when it does come to draft day, regardless of the position in which we're at, do well. Don't blow it. No Alex Leatherwoods. No Cleveland Farrells. Don't do no dumb shit when it comes to draft day. So just pick responsibly, wherever the hell you end up. We'll deal with that when we get there. We got a long season to go. So anyway, I'm with you, Johnny in San Diego. And thank you for cracking open that one bloodshot eye to make the call into the show, man. That was awesome. That was awesome. All right, next up, we've got another Johnny for you.
Murf, Johnny here. I just don't understand it. It's halftime on this game, and it's a disaster. We gotta let Pete Carroll go. This team is the worst coached team in the league. I mean, Gino Smith is horrible. And he puts the same offensive line out there. I mean, it's sad, at least I witnessed my team win Super Bowls, but to be on the bottom of the barrel now is just I was hoping that they could turn it around and my son could see some greatness from the Raiders, but I don't know what we got to do. It seems like for the last 20 plus years, we just had the wrong people making the wrong decisions.
Come on.
And moving forward, we cannot let this coaching staff draft or evaluate the players or anything. I mean, Pete Carroll is done. His better days are way behind him, and that's why Seattle let him go. These are facts. John, out.
All right. Thank you, Johnny. Yeah, anyone that tries to make a case for Pete Carroll, it gets lost on me real fast. The whole we can't just keep changing coaches. Yes, you can. When it's not working, you move on from it. When you're in business, you don't lean into things that don't work. There's clearly a dysfunction in this organization, and a lot of it Pete Carroll is responsible for. And at a minimum, I just don't like the change in the messaging. Again, to go back to what I was talking about earlier at the very beginning of the show, quit with the bullshit. Don't bullshit us. It's condescending. It's the holier than thou. It's you think you operate on a different level or a different plane than we do. Stop it. I know you're a very accomplished head coach in the National Football League and in NCAA football. I get it. I totally get it. But, we're not all a bunch of slappies down here that are just, waiting around for the wisdom of one said Peter Clay Carroll. No, don't do that to us. And so I'm with you, Johnny. Appreciate the call in there. All right, next up, let's get to our buddy out of there in Pennsylvania. Let's get to Jay from PA. Hey, I'm curious, Jay from PA. What side? The east side or the west side? I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm just purely guessing. I'm guessing you're east side because I know that a lot of East Coast, a lot of East Coast football fans end up being Raider fans, like Jersey, New York. So I'm guessing Philly. Like, I don't know how you grew up in Philly or around Philly and not be an Eagles fan, but I'm guessing it's going to be Eastern Pennsylvania, not Western, where it's like just Steeler Brown country.
Hey guys, it's Jay from PA. Calling again on my usual Monday. Drive home from work, and well, here we are again. An absolute embarrassing loss to the Browns. You got to be kidding me. I just have to say, you guys really helped. And you, Silver and Black today, Graph and Wasted, you guys help this fan base more than I think you guys know. And I do really appreciate it because you guys are the bright spots to being a fan of this pathetic team. Just wanted to get that out there so you guys, know that. But here we are. I mean, Carroll's fired 2 coordinators. Gino's leaving the field, flipping off the fan base. That's great. That's respectful. He's Carroll in these press conferences, Gino in these press conferences. I can't listen to him anymore. I feel like this has been the longest season I've endured. I thought after that Browns loss, we had 2-3 more games and it can finally be over. We have 6 games remaining. 1 remaining against a sub-500 team. So I'm sure there's going to be more embarrassment. But there's no way Carroll can come back, right? Yeah, I need you guys to give me some hope here because if he comes back, I don't know if I can have hope. I don't see a vision, and I just had to call in and just bitch. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for everything you do.
Joe, thank you, buddy. We love you too, man, and thank you for calling into the show as often as you do, man. We appreciate that very, very much. And I'm with you on like, I say I can't listen to the press conferences anymore. I do give the Raiders media credit for doing one thing, and that's their podcast, feed it's well structured. I'll say that. I don't like the content because the team is ass and whatever, but I love it that they put out, whenever there's a press conference from Pete Carroll or Gino Smith or whatever, they put that stuff out there. They put interviews with JT the Brick and whatever player or coach he's talking to or whatever, they put that out there. They put the show with Eric Allen out there. Like they put the stuff out there. And so they do a good job in terms of structuring the product that they're putting out when it comes to the media. Social media, different. But when it comes to social media, they're tone deaf, as I said earlier. But when it comes to that stuff, I think it's what I was so excited about this year. I'm like, this is going to be great. Like I can, be driving around for work and stuff, and I can listen to all this and, get my show prep in and whatever. I can't stand it. And sadly, I feel, I don't have to. I mean, this isn't my full-time job. This isn't even a job at all. This is just something I love to do. But out of, an obligation to have an educated opinion about this damn team, I listen to them all. I don't listen to all the interview shows as much, but the press conferences I listen to. And I'm with you, Jay. It is nails on a chalkboard. It is so brutal listening to Pete attempting to gaslight a fan base. I'm like yelling at my freaking car radio, listening to this guy. When he comes out and he's talking about, like when he's, freaking rhapsodizing about Gino Smith and his play. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, you senile old gum assassin? Like, shut up. That's not what's happening. Quit pretending like what we're actually watching with our eyes on Sundays isn't what's going on. It's mind-boggling to me. And it's just a testament to the arrogance and the ego of said Peter Clay Carroll that he thinks he can pull off messaging like that to a fan base that's just going to go, okay, Pete, sure, okay. Oh, man. It drives me nuts, Jay. I'm with you, bro. I'm so with you on that. All right, next up, let's get to our buddy, Ron, the Moderator.
Hey, guys, what's up? It's Ron. Hey, just kind of want to see where you guys stand on SpyTech, because as it stands right now, I think everybody's, the general consensus I see is probably Pete should go, but SpyTech should stay because he is a younger GM. But if what Pete says is true and almost none of SpyTech's draft class is actually ready to see the field and contribute, what's our take there? And I guess you have to bring in, his free agency moves. We're bringing in two of the worst offensive linemen last year to be two of the worst offensive linemen this year for us. Do you think we clean house completely, or do you think we keep SpyTech and give them the benefit of the doubt that, those guys maybe didn't contribute for other reasons other than their abilities? I don't know. Have a good day, guys. Bye.
All right. Thank you, Ron. I think it's a great question, first and foremost. And so my fan brain says, yeah, you give him more time because he had to get, he was a prisoner of Pete Carroll's relationship with Gino Smith. I think that John Spytek didn't have an opportunity to get us a quarterback because Pete already had his guy, signed him to that fat contract. I think he was 100% the driving force behind the numbers and everything about it. I don't think John Spytek comes out of the gate his first year as a GM knowing how important it is to have a franchise quarterback and goes, Gino Smith, that's our guy. I can't see a world where that's the case, especially knowing that his predecessor got fired because he didn't get us a quarterback. 100% Tom Telesco got fired because of, one, he didn't re-sign Josh Jacobs, and two, he didn't get us a quarterback. So he got his ass canned. So I think that knowing that, and John Spytek is way too smart of an individual to come out of this thing and go, I'm tying my legacy to Gino Smith. That Pete Carroll has tied his legacy to Gino Smith. And Pete Carroll being an incredibly seasoned guy in the NFL and John Spytek being a first-time GM, they said this was going to be a joint effort, but Pete frickin' showed his cards right out of the gate when we had Gino Smith. And I was on board with Gino Smith. I wasn't opposed to it. And I thought, okay, that gives Spytek to build the roster with some other positions while, Gino takes the reins for 1, 2, 3 years. And then we can, develop a quarterback along the way. Tom Brady is been very vocal about how teams have quarterback development problems. So this gives them a chance to develop a quarterback. Everything made sense on paper until we saw it start unfolding on game days. And now it doesn't make any goddamn sense at all because John Spytek drafted 2 freaking linemen in the 3rd round, and they've had they have collective 1 snap on the season. It's crazy to me. There are so many players and teams that especially the midway point, your 3rd rounders should be contributing at a minimum in rotation, if not starters themselves. Dylan Parham was a day 1 starter, and he was the first he was a 3rd round pick because remember Ziegler, McDaniels anyways, traded away our 1st and 2nd rounder for Devontae. So their first pick in the draft was Dylan Parham, and he started day 1. So this is where it goes to, all this stuff doesn't make sense. So I don't pin it on Spytek. Now, I will tell you this, if they were drafted as developmental players and that was Spytek's call and you drafted developmental players in the 3rd round, well then, bro, that's on you. That's not a smart recipe. So I would hold him accountable for that. But I don't think that's the case because we hear from Pete and from, who knows, man, it's all everybody's so full of shit. But you would think with a halfway competent coaching staff, they could get 2 3rd round picks with this incredible upside, game ready to be at a minimum able to suit up, which we've seen them be inactive for most of the time, but then at a minimum work in rotation and then potentially even a starting role. So I can't pin that all on John. So I think, yes, you clean house, but I think that Spytek, if anybody, is going to get a pass. I think that Graham is outran. I think you don't make it 4 regimes deep as a coordinator, man, in the NFL. Shit, you barely make it through 1 or 2, let alone 4. That ain't going to happen. That dude's gone. So I think that it's a clear, it's a clean wipe. Spytek's already in the position. If you bring in a younger offensive-minded head coach like we all want, Clint Kubiak, Joe Brady, Shula, who's the other one? Well, of course you bring Kingsbury back, not back, but you know what I'm saying. Bring him in like that. There's a lot of opportunities there. Those guys aren't going to have any juice over Spytek. So that Spytek is then firmly established as the team's general manager, the lead decision maker when it comes to that stuff. I think that there's a world where that could work, Ron. And so I think it's a great question, man. And I root for the guy. I kind of like him. I think that too. Here's another one I'll throw out there to you. I was bitching a week or so ago about, I'm like, why isn't Spytek in front of the media? Even Reggie McKenzie would come out once a year and give us a state of the Raiders and at the midpoint of the season or whatever. We don't ever hear from John Spytek. Well, maybe you don't hear from him because maybe the shit's going down and he's not happy with it. Maybe he doesn't want to be confronted with the decision or confronted with the question about, well, why isn't Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant playing? What's he going to say? I don't know. I drafted them so they could play. It's up to the coaching staff to decide. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I think that's why he's avoiding the media. I don't think it's him being a chicken shit. Hell, he wouldn't shut up during the offseason. He was everywhere. And I loved it. I'm like, wow, this guy knows his shit. He's smart. Like, cool. We got a good guy there at our GM. Well, now all of a sudden it's crickets? Why is it crickets? Because maybe he doesn't want to be in a position where he's got to reveal some truth, and that's going to run aground. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know, just something to consider. All right, last but not least, and this is our third made man of the night. If you call this show and you leave your voicemail 3 or more times, we play it on the show. Or if you get your email read an indefinite amount of times, you could become the next made man or made maiden. So after this call, I'm going to play the made man music. So congratulations to Johnny from Sacramento. Let's see, where are my guys? Yeah, Johnny from Sacramento, Johnny himself, and now Eric in Las Vegas. Congratulations. You are the newest 3 made men here at Raiders Fan Radio.
What's up, gang? This is Eric from Las Vegas. And man, this shit sucks. Listen, I'm going to give you some insight of being a local here in Las Vegas. When in Las Vegas, there was no football identity outside of the college team years ago, before the Raiders ever came, before the Golden Knights were ever here. So there was no football allegiance here. But then when the Knights came, that changed the culture of Las Vegas, and it became a hockey town. And when I learned about the Raiders, and in 2020, I planted my flag and said, you know what? I love the culture. I love the history. I love everything about the fandom. I'm going to support this team. This is going to be my team to the grave. But since being here, they either going to be the Las Vegas Patriots or the Las Vegas Seahawks. I wanted the Las Vegas Raiders.
Come on.
I wanted the Raiders.
Come on, dude.
And it's terrible right now. And being a fan from Vegas, it's hard because we had to constantly preach to the locals here, like, hey, look at the culture, look at the history. This team you want to get behind. But they're looking at me like I'm a Jets fan. And the organization is doing nothing for the locals here. Everything they plan, or it's basically tourists first. And not even OG fans. It's tourists of other teams first. From their events and all these specials they have, they don't think about us. So it's hard for a lot of these fans. And trust me, I'm not one of these fans that say they should stay here. I would give anything to go to an Oakland Raiders game. And I'm from Las Vegas. I love the convenience of driving to the stadium. But I would give anything to experience that. And they're not bringing it here. And it starts with good football. So all these people who had no allegiances, who didn't have any football culture in the city could understand what they experienced in LA and Oakland. Because I want the LA and Oakland fans to come down and share that love and that excitement. It's like, this is Raiders football. This is horrible. It's disgusting. They need to let go Gino. Carroll's in the hot seat. I just want Raiders football. I want to experience that. Because regardless where they are or what's happening, I just want to share that with other members of Raider Nation. This is Eric from Las Vegas. I need a drink.
Eric in Las Vegas, bringing it, brother. Couple things there. Yes, this is not the Las Vegas Seahawks. This is not the Las Vegas Patriots. My gosh, this talk about Bill Belichick and this shit, I'm like, can we stop? Can we stop retreading? Like, it's enough. Enough is enough when it comes to this stuff. It's like, and this is where, when it comes to the organizational leadership, you've got to recognize that trying to bring in something that worked from somewhere else, no, build your own. Build your own. That's what builds greatness. Like, there's never been in the history of the NFL, I don't know how many years it's been. We'll just say the Super Bowl era, okay? So the first Super Bowl is 1966. This is now 2025, all right? In that era, no one has ever won a Super Bowl with two different teams. It's never happened. Don Shula got close because the Colts team that he coached, he went to then coach the Miami Dolphins, and then that Colts team won the Super Bowl the year after that he left. His first year with Miami, Don Shula's Colts that he built won the Super Bowl. And then Don Shula, of course, went on to win two Super Bowls with the back-to-back with the Miami Dolphins. Bill Parcells never did it. He made it back to the Super Bowl with the Patriots after winning two with the Giants, made it back, and then got his ass throttled by frickin' Brett Favre. Was that 97, I think, off the top of my head? You know, like, so when you look at look around the league, man, all the coaches that have ever, and I'm not saying that they haven't had success, but I'm saying that when you go coach another football team, they've never historically, it's never happened. So to have, and what's the goal? The goal is to win a Super Bowl. So if the expectation is to win a Super Bowl, it's not going to be with Pete Carroll. The fucking history does not line up. Ask Dick Vermeil. There's another one for you. Like, never won shit with the Chiefs, but he got that one with the Rams, right? Like, it doesn't happen, man. And so to have that expectation, it's nonsense, man. It's quit trying to do it. No more retreads. Let's build something. And this is the other thing I want to get to with him, with him being Eric, is I think he brought up great points, is that, like, the identity. I want the Raiders to be the Raiders. And you mentioned wanting to see a game in Oakland. Brother, I can't tell you how glorious it was. And I'm not pretending it was all rosy all the time and there wasn't other teams' fans there at times. You know, Pittsburgh fans would show up in droves at times and whatnot. And I know attendance was a struggle. And, like, I'm not saying they were bad football teams. I'm not painting a rosy picture for what Oakland was. But Oakland, there was passion, there was energy, there was grit. It was ours. It was unique. There was nothing else like the Oakland Raiders. Why I'm representing them now. Nothing else in the NFL was like the Oakland Raiders. There's plenty of shit that's like the Las Vegas Raiders. So I'm with you. I want the Raiders to build their own identity in Las Vegas. And I'm sad to hear that they are failing on building up the community that exists in Las Vegas, because what makes us such passionate fans is that we grew up with this stuff, right? Doesn't matter where you're from. You could be from Oakland, you could be from LA, you could be from freaking Shropshire, England, right? It doesn't matter where you're from, but you grew up with it. And that's what drives that passion. So if you're investing in tourism and you're investing in things that are outside of your market area, where the most obvious examples of people that would grow an affinity for your fan base live, If you're not doing that, then shame on you. No wonder Raider Dad can't get more traction. Raider Dad is literally trying to do that. And for whatever reason, the Raiders have largely ignored what those efforts are. Yeah, they'll send team representatives out to the events. We've met them, and they're fine, and they're nice, and all that kind of stuff. But you're talking about an organization that is on local news, that is permeated throughout local schools. Like, this is an incredible organization that is developing a connection between young people, their families, and the Las Vegas Raiders. Why is it that you're dependent on this third-party nonprofit to do what the Raiders should be doing themselves? Or at least at a minimum, they should be endorsing folks like Raider Dad openly. That tells me what I always say on this show. You want to get to the answer to the question, get me to the end of the money. Well, there you go. The end of the money is in tourism. The end. There's a lot more fans of other teams collectively than there is just Raider fans. So you cater to everybody else. You're a destination city. Everybody making money. Casinos are making money. Hotels are making money. Mark Davis is making money. And they don't need us. God dang it, man. Well, this makes me emotional. They don't need us. Al loved us. And he knew he needed us. And Al loved us. I don't feel loved anymore as a fan. I don't feel loved anymore as a Raider fan. But Eric in Las Vegas, damn it, bro. That was a great call. And so we award a Sizzler Award to the best emailer or phone caller of the night. We had some great ones. We had, of course, Martin and Wendy and Rambo Adventures and Paul emailed it. Rambo Adventures, thank you for your email. And keep those coming. It was good to hear from you. And thank you for being a longtime listener. And then, of course, and Martin and Wendy and Paul are just, they're OGs around here. And we appreciate them so very, very much. And then on the calls, we had Central Valley Raider, Johnny in Sacramento, I hate to call him other Johnny, but Johnny, Jay from Pennsylvania, Ron the Moderator, but give it up for Eric in Las Vegas, the newest Made Man and Sizzler Award winner here in whatever this is, Raiders Fan Radio. Where's the Made? Here it is. Congratulations. And not only to just Eric too, but Eric, Johnny, and Johnny in Sacramento, newest Made Men.
You are a made man. You showed you are part of the family by participation. By chance, a man like yourself should make enemies, then they would become my enemies. Showing you are a friend of Raiders Fan Radio, you have leapt across the line. Friendship is everything. Friendship is more than talent. It is more than the government. It's almost equal to family. Be loyal. Made man, Raider fan. Someday, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you to do a service for me. But until that day, accept this as a gift. And don't ever forget, words can hurt more, but silence can break hearts.
All right, give it up for the Made Men, and also give it up for Eric in Las Vegas, this week's Sizzler Award winner.
Sizzler. 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 Sizzler.
Sizzler.
We are Metallica, and we are here for your Oakland Raiders!
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around today.
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
So we're running here at the end of the show. So I mentioned that this is a show of gratitude, a show of thanks. And so I'm not going to read it all to you because it's getting way, way too long now. But look at this. For those of you that are on the audio podcast, I'll put up the list. That's the list of the people that are made. There's 200, almost 200 full names on this list of people that have been made on this show, and that's what it's all about, man. When it comes to Raiders Fan Radio, it's being thankful for the conversations, being thankful for the comments, the likes, the subscribes, all that stuff. But the interaction is what we love most about it, because as much as the team can certainly let us down at times, and times none greater than this, and when we're all let down in a way with the lack of success and the amount of dysfunction and all that stuff, it makes it hard, man. But Raider Nation has never let me down, never let any of us down. The tailgates are always incredible. People want to compare between Vegas and Oakland and the tailgates and all that stuff. Listen, I've been to a bunch of Oakland Raider tailgates, and granted, they were very unique and special to their own, but there is still some life in that in Las Vegas. You go to the right spot, you get with the right people, you will feel that same energy there in Las Vegas. So the potential is there. God forbid, let us get good and watch what happens. And God forbid, they develop a fan base in Las Vegas and watch what happens. Those things are there, man, and it's still there to be had. And so because of that, and because of the people that are invested in that, and the fans and everybody from the different fan groups, and, from the Black Hole to all the booster clubs to, just the people that are PSL holders and people like Wendy that's in there that are at every game and all that, like, Gil, and there's so many of our good friends. And I don't want to try to list everybody, because I'll miss somebody. I'll miss Trinidad. I'll miss whatever, there's so many people that invest in that. And like, that's what makes this fan base so great. And that's what will never make me not be passionate about the Raiders is the fans. Like, the team can suck, but the fans and the collective of Raider Nation will never let us down, ever. And so that includes everybody in the chat room tonight. Appreciate Yoshi in there. Appreciate Wendy is in there. Paul, of course, is in there. Let's see. Jay Harris is in there. Get to the Choppa is in there. Scumdog is in there. Alfred Esparza is in there. Ron the Moderator's in there. Kyle Raider is in there. Oh, Wendy, you're so sweet. I love you too. And keep holding it down, and keep holding down that positivity, man. That's one of my favorite things about Wendy. She's the most positive Raider fan I think maybe I've probably ever met in my whole life, man. Like, I love it. Colorado Raider is in there. Johnny Kicknuts is in there. I always loved that name. Let's see, I said Colorado Raider. Kyle is in there. Paul Edgerton, I think I mentioned already. M2CB is in there. Johnny Wilcock is in there. Johnny, and one of my buddies from Twitter, man. Appreciate you, Johnny. And I always enjoy our interactions on the Twitters there, brother. And I know we're getting more and more people joining us over here that are coming over from the social media stuff. And so appreciate you. Appreciate Raider B Al. And so anyways, that's all we got for tonight. Last but not least, aside from just being thankful and having gratitude for Raider Nation, y'all enjoy your time with your family tomorrow. Have fun at the holidays. Like, sometimes it gets awkward, but just embrace the awkward spirit of what it is to be around people that you don't like, but you're related to them anyways. But but no, actually, and hopefully all of yours experiences are much like mine. I love this time of year. I love everybody that the loved ones that I'm surrounded by. Like, I just could not be more thankful for that, and I hope that's your experience too. And so anyway, so love you guys. Thank you very much for your support of everything. And okay, I think I'm done finally talking. An hour and 48 minutes of a selfie. I think that's the first time ever for that. So anyways, good night, Raider Nation. I love you, and we all love you, and we'll see you next week. And hopefully, we've got something to root for next week. Wouldn't that be nice, huh? So for your old buddy Murf, for Bomber, Bomb. Oh my gosh, he's zonked out. Bomber, come here, come say hi. Come here. Come on. Say hi to the people. They love you more than they like me. This dog has the biggest head you've ever seen. He's 200 pounds and 50 of it is his head. All right, guys, love you. Have a good night.